King's Dream Live podcast for creative entrepreneurs and all that good stuff. My name is Ruslan. Today I am co-joined by my brother Belief of Belief in Fatherhood.
What up?
Dream Junkies, all that good stuff. So I wanted to get together and just basically quickly as we can, talk about the election.
Yeah.
What did you think of the election? Donald Trump is now our president, 45th president.
He's the president-elect.
The president-elect?
Yeah.
Not officially the president, but he's the president-elect.
I had a lot of mixed feelings about this. I didn't know if, who I was rooting for. You know what I'm saying? Because, I'm one of the dudes who's like, man, I ain't voting. You know what I'm saying? Then last minute I always vote. Just because my wife looks at me like, oh, you going to be one of them? You know what I'm saying? And so I felt like it was my responsibility to vote just for, like, my family, you know?
Okay.
Even though I totally think everything, like, it doesn't matter. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? So if you really care about so take my advice. So what I'm saying is like a grain of salt because I don't even think it matters. But I do think that it will be a very interesting 4 years.
Okay.
I'm not one of the guys who thinks Trump is a racist or anything like that, but I do believe that he activates a lot of racist and misogynistic behavior.
Okay. So do you think all people who voted for Trump are racist or have racist sympathies, or do you think they're just apathetic and don't care?
Absolutely not. I don't believe that.
Okay.
I think that a very small percentage of the people do believe some of the things that some of the rhetoric he was repeating or allowing to happen at some of his rallies is okay. You know what I'm saying? I have a problem with some of the people who write that off. You know what I mean? And I don't really know what they can say about that. Like how they can look at Trump and be like, oh man, he's the most amazing guy when he allowed people to get punched. He saw people get punched and didn't have any like remorse for them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that in itself is concerning, but I'm not really sure. I can't really ask them that question specifically because honestly, I'm not really around a bunch of Trump supporters, and if I am around them, they definitely don't make themselves known. You know,
or you're around and they just don't talk about it.
Yeah, they're like low key, down low Trump supporters. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I'm cool with that. Like, I'm not against it. Yeah. What do you feel?
I don't know what I feel. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I was bummed out. I was hoping Hillary would win. I didn't vote for either Trump or Hillary. Why did I want Hillary to win?
Yeah.
It's like take the evil you know versus the evil you don't know vibes, you know? And so I was hoping Hillary would win, but again, I didn't know what that would practically mean for the country as well. I mean, basically I wanted Hillary to win because I didn't think much would change, and I'm okay with not stuff changing because I figured out I got this.
Yeah.
Like, I got this system, this tax bracket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I think when Trump won, I think there's just some variables that we just don't know. Practically, we don't know what's going to happen to Obamacare. We don't know what's going to happen to healthcare.
And you rely on Obamacare.
Yeah, and I'm on Obamacare. And the reason why I went full time with music was because of Obamacare. Because prior to Obamacare, when we had priced out plans, I think it was like $1,200 a month for a plan for me and my whole family.
That's
right,
great.
just open market.
Yeah.
And then when Obamacare came on the scene, those plans went to, like, I think we paid $350 for the whole family.
That's pretty good. Wow, that's crazy.
Same plan as we had on my wife's job, same co-pays, like everything the same for the most part. So I was more so, I'm curious on how that's going to play out because as an entrepreneur, your premium comes from the government or Obamacare, and you have to get insurance on the open market. And so there's other things, HSAs and all kinds of other ways I guess you can do healthcare. But that I'm watching that. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that, how they're going to repeal and replace it.
Yeah.
And then I think I agree in that some of the things activated in people are a little alarming. And I hope that I don't think Trump meant a lot of the stuff he said, as bad as that sounds. I think he was speaking more in hyperbole. And he was speaking in more an exaggerated salesman pitches. We're going to make everything great. Everything's going to be great. It's going to be terrific, right? Without giving much detail. you know? And so I think that's the type of personality he is, and that's the type of guy he is.
Now, see, this is my problem with that with that response, excuse me, I can't say that. I think he was just kind of joking or playing. You know what I'm saying? Because as a man of your word, as a man, like you are responsible for the things that you let come out of your mouth. You know what I mean? So I have a real problem with. I don't really think he was serious. Like that whole argument is like, yo, how do you know what that man was thinking in his head?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like he let it come out of his mouth.
Sure.
And so for me, I know like when I'm saying something, it's probably because in my heart that's how I really feel, and my heart is really what needs to change, not so much my words. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So I would push back. I would push back and just say what specifically did he say that is problematic for you personally?
You know, when there were protesters at his rally, and he would say stuff like, you know, back in the day, these guys would have been laid out, or you know, get this guy out of here. Like, you know, why don't you just punch him in the mouth? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think those things for me is like, okay, I want to cause harm to people. You're giving the green light as the president of the United States. You're giving the green light for people to be violent and be enforcers for what you believe. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And so all that stuff could be taken out of context.
Sure.
And so you have someone believing, just say, Trump says, well, anybody who doesn't stand up and put their hand over their heart for the American flag, for the national anthem, should be punched in the mouth. You know, haphazardly, he just says it loosely.
Somebody's going to take that literally.
Somebody's going to take that as their responsibility to enforce that.
Right. So again, what I agree with you, but what I'm saying is I don't know. I agree with the idea of responsibility. I just don't think maybe he understands. Maybe he doesn't care how people interpret those words. I was specifically speaking to like fiscal policy, like what specific things did he say? Not at the the Trump rallies or whatever where he's saying back in the days so and so would get punched in the mouth.
Yeah. So about his plans, I have to be honest. I was fed through. I never took research to do on my own.
Right.
I was fed through shares, things that were shared on my.
As we all were.
So the things that I was shared was more propaganda, making him look like a douchebag.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I don't believe that a lot of his policies and the stuff that he's saying, I don't think I got the full spec, because once I went back and I did my own research, or I got showed like other stuff, I was like, oh man, like that actually makes sense. Or that still has some kind of sketchiness to it.
Right.
But I'm still cool with that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like all this stuff really doesn't affect me as much as I thought it did. So it's not so much of what his policies or any of his plans, because I don't know
the way he carried himself at the rally.
Yeah, he had very bad conduct. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't have good conduct.
Sure. Okay. I mean, I obviously I agree with you. Like
yeah.
I'm not, I wasn't for Trump. I'm curious. I think what he did was like he made a lot of promises, and now is he going to deliver on them? Is he actually going to get a wall built?
You know what's crazy? I'm more for like, this is what he did, and he didn't know he was doing. He activated a lot of the racists, right? And not to say, once again, all Trump supporters aren't racist or misogynist. I'm not saying that, but some of them are, and those people came to the surface. But he also put everybody who's on the opposite side, and they were already rallying, and now it's more of them together.
Now they're more angry.
They're not angry. They're more together.
Okay, more unified.
Okay. They all have a common enemy. Which really doesn't work for his benefit at all. Now, a lot of these people don't really know what they're riding for. They just know what they're against. They're against bullying. They're against, these things that, human conduct that people should care about. They're not, they're against it. So I think he may have caused some problems for himself, and so the more people who are like, white power, we need to cleanse, ethnic cleansing and stuff like that. It's mad people who are like, yo, come say that over here.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that I think he hasn't done a clear job of saying, hey, we're not cool with this. We're not for this. This is not okay. Like it's always a revert back to like, well, the media doesn't know what it's talking about. So I think he's done a bad job of not being more clear and direct about like, this is not what we're about. This is not okay.
Right.
This shouldn't happen. Versus just kind of letting it go and then saying something minor, like him being endorsed by the KKK. I think he could have been stronger about saying, we're not for that. That's not cool. That's a hate group. Don't endorse me. I don't want your endorsement. And I think that's where he seems to be dropping the ball pretty consistently, is like in the areas where he needs to step up and say, that's not okay. hey, don't punch people at my rallies. That's not okay.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't say that. And then it, because he's not very eloquent, he's not very polished, it just looks like insanity.
And that's hard for even me as an artist, right? Because I can't choose my supporters.
Okay.
Right? So some people come up to me and they're like, yo, man, you the best rapper in the world, and Andy Minio's not, and you're better than him. And I'm like, yo, don't talk about my homie like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my real homie, my friend. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. Like, that's disrespectful. So you can't choose like who's freakishly like a fanatic about you.
Yep.
So I kind of understand it from that point, but at the same time, it's like he didn't take a clear stance on what he wasn't about, you know? And so I think he's one of the guys that's like, I don't want to focus on negativity.
Yeah.
I want to focus on what's great about what I'm doing, because you know what I'm saying? Like, he's talking to his supporters.
Yeah.
His supporters aren't like, hey, denounce the KKK.
Yeah.
They're not saying that.
They don't care.
They don't care.
Yeah. I think one thing, I've been watching a lot of interviews by Scott Adams. Are you familiar with Scott Adams?
Is this the hallucinist guy you're talking about?
Hypnotist guy. Yeah, the hallucinist guy.
Yeah.
The hypnotist guy. He did a real cool interview with Vlad TV, and he didn't say this specifically about the Trump rally, but he just talked about the Trump campaign. But there was a separate interview I saw, and he tied it in where he said, like, what Trump is able to do is appeal to people's emotions, right? The fear, the the feeling disenfranchised, feeling like the economy left them behind, all the jobs went overseas. So he's able to appeal to people's emotions on a much deeper level, whereas Clinton is here with her charts and her statistics, and this is what I've accomplished, right? And like trying to logically explain the thing. And he said this, and this, to me, I think falls in line with scripture and falls in line with just common sense. Unrelated to the campaign, but I guess it ties in, was he just said, like, look, people aren't rational. People don't make rational decisions. People don't think rationally, right? Seth Godin refers to it as our lizard brain, right? The scriptures would refer to it as our depraved sin nature.
Okay.
That, like, people inherently don't think rationally. We think emotionally. We think about what benefits us. We think about what forward. We live in these echo chambers where we're just hearing whatever it is that we want to hear, and we're not really sitting and critically thinking through, what does this actually mean? What does a Trump campaign and a Trump presidency mean for people of colors? What does it literally mean to round up 11 million undocumented, Mexicans and send them back to Mexico? And then, the number went down to just the criminals.
It was illegal immigrants, illegal Mexicans, not just Mexicans. You just said Mexicans.
Whatever, illegal immigrants, right? 11 million undocumented people here in America. And then he said, well, we're just going to do away with the criminals. Right. And all of it goes to show that I'm at a place personally, and I'm at I have peace where, like, man, like, people just aren't rational, and that's okay. And I'm not rational. I don't always make the most logical, rational decisions. I could be presented with a bunch of facts. I could be presented with all the details, and I still won't make the rational decision, right? And I think if I can view and understand the world as that, I feel less frustration and anger when someone like Trump gets elected, or when another unarmed black man gets killed, right? Because it's like, well, people just aren't rational. They don't think rationally. I don't think rationally, and that's not okay. And it's not an excuse. It just is what it is. It helps me understand the world better that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, people aren't rational. I know that for me, I vote from a safe place. I vote from what do I want what's the America I want my children to grow up in? You know what I'm saying? And
but even that's emotional though, right?
Yeah.
Like, even that's like very like,
yeah, it's a safe place. It's passion. Yeah, definitely. So I vote about the things I care about. You know what I'm saying? Well, how is it going to affect my local community? And I don't think it's going to do much on. I don't think Trump is going to do much politically in my life. Like, I actually heard some stuff he was saying about stay-at-home parents and how. They were going to be able to have a tax write-off, you know what I mean, for the amount that it would have cost for them to, get a sitter or whatever. And I was like, man, that's pretty cool. Like, if that stuff like that happens, fine. But what the most effect it will have on me is what the tone is going to change in the average interaction I'm having. So I'm feeling it now, going to the store. interacting with old white people right now. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of awkward. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm definitely feeling it. Like, I don't know whether to look them in the eye. I don't know if they're gonna say hi back if I say hi. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's a problem with my character, because I have an issue of, okay, am I a generous person? Am I an outgoing person? Am I friendly only to people who I like, or am I just a friendly person? You know what I'm saying? So I have these own issues, but I noticed that it's definitely getting more awkward in public. And even like, you know, after Alta Sterling and Philando Castile, you know, got killed, you know, days apart. I had an issue going outside. I felt different. You know what I mean? It felt different in church that Sunday. I was getting a lot of black guy hugs and black guy handshakes. You know what I'm saying? And
to be completely honest, like, this is a part where, like, my white privilege.
Yeah, you're totally checked out.
I just don't think about any of that. Like, that is really like the epitome of white privilege. Like, this is literally stuff I don't have to think about. Even when I'm out in public with my interracial son, my mixed son.
Yeah.
It still doesn't affect me.
You have the right
to not care. Well, I have the privilege to not care.
You have the privilege to feel nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm walking around like, I'm noticing a lot more people trying to connect with me. Like, people who are like, yo, I like black people and I need a black friend and you're a safe black guy, so we're gonna hang out. Like, I'm noticing, I'm like, why am I here? Like, I've known you for years. Why am I here? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, you're trying to actually walk out what you think in your mind. Yeah. You know, and I'm a safe black person, because they're not gonna hit up Peanut. You know what I'm saying? Like, Peanut, let's go over your house, buddy. Like, nah, they want to do play dates and stuff like that, and that's totally cool, because
that's cool. Like, that's cool that people are making an effort.
That's
you know what I mean?
awesome. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But me and my wife are kind of like, see what's going on over here? You know? You know what I'm saying? But it's something that Trump doesn't have to worry about. Middle America don't have to worry about. But black people, you know, in middle class, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. We are going to feel a difference, a shift.
Right.
And it's okay. I feel like we have to prepare our minds, our hearts, our pockets, our weaponry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. For the changes that's happening in the culture.
And I think the response has to be one of empathy and understanding that, like, I don't know what it's like to be undocumented. Right?
True. Facts.
I don't know what it's like to be black. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it's like to be a Muslim. I don't have any of these experiences.
Yeah.
But if those people are actually real people and not ideas to me, because my wife is black, I'm much more sensitive. You know, they went to the zoo the other day, and I've been hearing about all these crazy things that have been happening in San Diego and hate speech, and people were like just getting robbed. And I was literally sitting there like concerned, like, oh, like, they're out with a bunch of women of color. You know what I mean? Like, is this going to be, are they safe? Is somebody going to say something? Like, I literally thought that. I would never think that if I went to the zoo, but I feared and cared about her.
Wow,
right?
That's
so
great.
I'm closer to it. You know what I mean? I know a girl that used to come to the teen center that I worked at that was like 18, 19. I think she's in her 20s now. She's been in America since she was like 1 or 2, undocumented. I think she couldn't get FAFSA and go to college because she's undocumented. So she ended up not going to college. She graduated high school and didn't go to college because she couldn't get financial aid. And she would be potentially one of those people, her and her family, potentially some of those people that would get deported, right? That's a person. That's not an idea.
Yeah.
Right? I have Muslim friends that I went to school with. Those are real people, right? Flesh and blood.
Or even having gay friends who you know.
Friends,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I've had a conversation with my gay friends recently, and I was just kind of rocked by how he wasn't accepted in church and how he never told anyone he was gay. You know what I'm saying? And how it's just kind of this real awkward thing. Like, I love Jesus, but I am gay. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah, that's a trip, man. And so I think the more connected we are to people on a human level.
Yeah.
And it's whack when like something like this happens and then everybody wants to get connected, right? But like that should be our default response. We should desire to care. We should desire to be around different types of people.
And this is why this could actually be a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want anything to change, but it's supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't want anything to change economically. I don't want anything to mess up my pockets. Let's be clear, because I figured I know how to get this system to work. When he starts changing the taxes, and there's only 3 tax brackets, and now the lowest tax bracket goes from 10 to 12%. That's stuff that could like affect me. That's a literal Obamacare. That literally affects me. You know what I mean? So,
but I think for me, like what I'm seeing is that it's bringing people together. you're seeing a lot of cultural things that aren't usually happening. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know. It's very interesting, and I'm really encouraged by the amount of people who are reaching out, and I'm also encouraged by the amount of funny looks I'm getting. Because usually I wouldn't get those looks. They wouldn't never pay attention to me, but now they're seeing me as a threat. They see, you know what I'm saying? So like now, think about it. If this guy's in office for 8 years, this is 8 years of different change, different thought patterns that people are going to start having. You know what I'm saying? Theo will be 11. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So he's got his whole elementary school experience is going to be with this kind of shift in mind.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so I'm thinking like, okay, I have to prepare my children for these type of altercations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That they're gonna have because I'm having them already. So, and it's okay because I know that I have to prepare them. You know what I mean?
Right. I think 8 years, man, that's a long time.
Yeah.
I think I'm hopeful in the sense that, like, again, despite me not agreeing with some of the policies and not actually voting for it, like, I think I'm hopeful in that, like, not the majority still voted against Trump. Mm-hmm. Right. So, and I think that's going to be tough for him. How do you unite a divided country?
He don't care.
I think he cares. I think he wants to be everybody's president. I think his motives are sincere. Like, I think he actually wants to do good because he's a competitor and he wants to win.
I think the people that don't like him don't exist to him.
Maybe, but
that's what I think.
But I think he's made reasonable attempts to reach out to the black community. I think he's made several statements to say, "I want to be president for all people."
Yeah, but you know, like. If you keep telling people,
he's down with Ben Carson.
Dog,
he's black.
Come on, dog, don't do that. listen. I think you can mention something. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm like, yo, don't eat beef. Chicken is great. And you should also have potatoes. Yeah. Chicken is great. You know what I'm saying? Like just because I mentioned something, I don't mean that's what I'm pushing. You know what I'm saying? Like. Yeah, he said he gave us a sidebar. You know what I'm saying? But he ain't really kicked no knowledge to us. He wasn't speaking to us. He was speaking to Americans. You know what I'm saying? And the problem is, most black people don't consider themselves American. They still call Africa the motherland. Never been to Africa. Don't got a passport. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an American. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when he speaks, I'm trying to listen from an American standpoint. You know what I mean? And that's hard for me because it's so much about America that's against my race. You know what I mean? Systematically and,
historically.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, again, millennials voted against him. The majority, the popular vote, voted against him.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be tough for him regardless. I think specifically with those two things, like it's going to be tough for him to win young people over, and it's going to be tough for him to win over just a popular opinion. Like the popular opinion is still not pro-Trump, even though he won the electoral college.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't think that dude cares, man. I think he is a machine, and he's a business, and he's thinking, okay, I got these people, I'm rocking with these people, and I'm just going to keep rolling, and I'm going to keep doing the stuff that I think is right.
Have you seen the 60 Minutes interview?
Yeah.
You still feel that way? The post-election speach he gave, the 60 minute. Like I honestly thought he was like a different Trump. Like I thought he was much more humble. I think he was intentionally saying, I want to be everybody's president. Like I think he was.
Yeah, but effort. You know what I'm saying? Like if you sitting there giving a talk at some college and somebody throw a shoe at your face, you're gonna be like, yo. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't down with the West Coast? You know what I'm saying?
Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg.
Y'all ain't down with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's gonna care, and I don't know if he's gonna be as forgiving. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he's gonna be a forgiving president. And so, he's very vengeful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know that. You know what I'm saying?
I get all that, and again, like, I think he's an entertainer. I think. The dude was literally on WWE.
Yeah.
Like, I think at the very, very core fabric, I think he's a businessman. He's a competitor. He's very competitive. He's an entertainer, and he has a very privileged experience. Like, the dude, borrowed $1 million from his dad to start his business. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's another level. Like, that's another level of, like, my dad gave me a small loan of $1 million to get my... He's like, what? You know what I mean? So... I think it's just a whole different way of like thinking and looking at the world that I'm not too familiar with, and I can't relate.
Get familiar, you know what I'm saying? Like I think we're just gonna have to get familiar with it, and we're gonna have to get used to it. We're gonna have to prepare ourselves. Like, You know, I feel like this is very revolution time. This is legendary. This is history. Like this right here, it's like, oh man, like everybody had their season of like living through something crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Question: do you think he's gonna win it again in 4 years?
Probably.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen too many presidents after 4 years get kicked out. You know what I'm saying?
The first Bush did.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was. I mean, it was Reagan for 8,
Mhm.
Bush for 4, and he said he never raised taxes, and then raised taxes, and he was gone. That's how Clinton got in.
Oh.
Yep. So Bush did. I'm trying to think who else. There's a couple, one-term presidents.
I think this is the beginning of a revolution.
You think the DNC, the Democratic Party, is going to clean up their act with all the campaign rigging and how they kind of did Bernie foul? Like, you think that's going to get sorted out and they're going to come back reignited and rebranded?
I don't know. They just all seem like a bunch of douchebags.
The whole DMC?
I mean, like, it's just, it doesn't really make any sense how you could put that man out like that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
that
saying?
was foul.
They did him grimy.
Yeah.
And then, Hillary Clinton didn't even have a slogan. Like, my man,
was it Stronger Together?
It was late in the game. Like he been Make America Great Again.
That's a
has
broad
been
slogan.
A bar.
Yeah.
Has been a bar for mad long.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He's been killing it.
He killed it from a branding standpoint, a marketing standpoint. He did a fantastic job. You can't even hate on the man for it.
Yo, them redneck hats.
Oh my, the redneck.
I don't think it's gonna be as bad as we think it is on a political level. I do think it's gonna be bad on a personal level,
On a social level.
social level. Losing
Okay.
friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm definitely expecting to get into a couple fights.
You okay?
You know what I'm saying? Like, not that I want to, but I'm definitely like doing mad push-ups. You know what I'm saying? Like, preparing myself. Like, oh man, I'm gonna have to scrap soon. You know what I mean? Just because I know people, like, they'll say anything.
Do you think we need a third option? Like, I voted for Gary Johnson, which I watched the two other options, the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, and I voted for Gary Johnson because I knew I wasn't in a swing state. My vote wasn't really going to matter. So and the whole like 5%, if he got 5% of the vote, popular vote, we'd have a third option. Do you think he didn't get 5% of the vote, which is awful, but do you think we need a third option?
Yeah, I think we need a third option.
Fourth option?
I think we need a fourth option for this. I think we need a what is it called? A probation period, 90 days. You do something crazy in 90 days, you're fired. We're starting all over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I think we need a lot. I think
the two-party system seems very archaic.
Yeah.
And very like, why do we operate this way? Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think I'm cool with it. Like, I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is preparation. You need to be preparing for everything. Every season is a preparation season. So if you're in middle school, you need to be preparing for high school. If you're in high school, be preparing for college or work. And if you're working, you need to be preparing to make a family. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if you're a creative entrepreneur or you're an entrepreneur in general, how do you think this affects you? And, we already talked about me being on Obamacare.
Yeah. I don't think it does, man. I think if you're really a creative, I think, most creatives spend so much time creating and not branding and hustling and all that stuff. And I just think you just got to brand and hustle and work your butt off. Like, you don't have time to be, if you're creative and you're trying to make money off of your art, you don't have time to be worried about things that are out of your control.
And one person can't control your life that much.
Nah.
That's just
nah. Like Gary Vee said it, like, you think I'm going to let this control me? Anybody? You know what I'm saying? Like, facts. Like, none of this is going to affect me.
Yep, that's good.
I'm still going to change the world.
And economically, cutting taxes on small business people and all that kind of stuff, it could positively impact those who are entrepreneurs and those who own small businesses from an economic standpoint. Did you see the Dave Chappelle monologue on?
Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Where he said
he's going to be the greatest comedian of all time.
Yeah, where he said, that he's everybody's leaving because Trump's president. He's like, no, I'm waiting to see how these tax breaks play out.
Yeah,
I think that's lit. Like, I think that's I think there is a component. I wasn't here for Reaganomics. I don't know if trickle down economics worked. I don't think it did.
Yeah,
and it doesn't seem like people were pumped about it, specifically lower class people, middle class people.
Right.
But maybe it worked. Maybe the 80s were lit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I was in a whole other country. Yeah. So I don't know how it was, but maybe it worked, and maybe his Reaganomics will work, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But on that note, You got any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. No, man. I mean, I think, next time we get in here, we should definitely talk about something else. Because I got mad stuff popping right now.
You ain't got to talk about politics?
I mean, yeah, politics is cool, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't really do nothing about none of that.
Yeah, and I think that at the end of the day, like, Trump is Trump, politics is politics. I think voting on a local level is important. Like, I think we got some really good stuff passed in California, the letting out nonviolent offenders early. Like, I think there was good stuff that happened this election that was specifically in California will counter some of the negative things.
You know what I want to talk about is the riots.
The riots?
The riots, the protests right now. What do you feel about that?
I feel like violence is never the way to.
They're mostly protests. Sorry,
yeah.
They're
I feel like violence is never the best and an optimal way to get results. Though I think it gets results and it gets attention.
I think I got you on that.
You got me on that. But I don't think it's the way. I don't think that's the way I would do it.
Right.
But I think. And I think there's a bunch of people out there that don't really care and are just mad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and they don't know what else to do.
So they don't know what else to do, so they're gonna do this. So I think that's whack. I think that's corny. And I think, but I think people should definitely protest, like march. Like, yeah, like I don't think they're whining. I think people who are grieving the presidency, like I don't think they're wrong. I don't think they should be told to move on. Like I think they should have the freedom to grieve. They should have the freedom to protest. They should have the freedom to express themselves in whatever way. And I'm not mad at that. Like I think that's good.
Yeah, I definitely think, if I look at like, this is gonna sound really bad, but if you look at the definition of a hater, like it's being mad because somebody won.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's like, at some point we got to realize that, we really have more preparing to do than we do like protesting. I don't know what you walking out your class is going to do. It just sends a sign.
It just sends a sign and it gets attention.
Yeah. Yeah. And so for me, like, we still got to live our lives. We still got to prepare for what's happening. We still got to raise our children and make this money. Like, I get it. Like, I understand protest and riot, but I don't really know what is the outcome. Like, you think Trump's going to be like, oh, man, y'all really don't want me to do this? Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah.
No, and I think if I could leave people with a final thought, and I'm sure you would agree, like, I think us personally have much more impact on people's lives on a personal level than whoever's president.
Yeah.
The way we lead our families, the way we love our wives, the way we treat people, the way we smile at people, like the way we are engaged in community, the way we steward our money, right? Like whatever side of the social reform, welfare, aid side, like if we as Christians just were more generous and more giving and actually cared for the widow and orphan, we wouldn't need a federal government to have a welfare program.
Right.
And I think that if we all took responsibility of that and said, I don't even care. Like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, again, if you need to grieve. If you're upset, be upset. But if we took personal responsibility for our actions and our outcomes, regardless of race, class, background, gender, and said, I'm going to live out what I'm supposed to be living out, and I'm going to live out and live my life in a way that glorifies God, I don't think a lot of this stuff would matter.
Yeah.
And listening to people we disagree with, listening to the protesters and treating them the way we want to be treated. And I think that's ultimately what Jesus would do, and I think that's where we need to land as believers is like, man, people are upset, hear them out, listen to them.
Yeah.
People are scared, like, empathize with them.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, where it starts. And the rest of it, I just want to be activated to go out and live my life and not anybody get in the way of that and help as many people as I can. I feel like if I could do that, I'm straight.
Yeah, man. I think a lot of things are meant to distract us. And I think if we could just focus on what's most important, our families, the people in our communities, the people we impact, the mission we've been given, then we won't be as distracted as easily distracted as we are. And not to say that this whole thing is a distraction. All these people are out here distracted, but I'm just saying that I think we are putting some people are putting way more energy into debating over the president than they ever have in like their calling or their passion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so like
Yep,
I don't know, man.
100%.
Just activate yourself. Like
Activate
don't
yourself.
allow these things to activate you. Activate yourself.
Activate yourself. That's great. That's a great way to end it.
Word.
More information, kingsdreament.com. Follow Belief Mel everywhere.
My hat is by Eric Kingsley. You know what I'm saying?
At Eric Kingsley with the plug.
Yeah, if you want the hat.
And stay locked in. We got so much more content on the way for you guys. Thank you so much for checking us out. Peace.